Top 20 Branch Manager Interview Questions and Answers. Here are the top branch manager interview questions with their best answers. Use them to know what the employer is looking for and the best way to respond to each question. 1. Why are you interested in this role? The employer asks this question to find out why you want to work at their company. Your response to this question helps the interviewer to understand your motivation behind applying for this job. Describe your interests and passions for the job as you relate to the job. Sample answer: my dedication to increasing a company's revenues pushed me to apply for this position. I have a track record of designing and creating workable strategies that enable a company to attain sales goals. I have been following your latest reports and I can say that I am impressed by your achievement. I believe that my objective and your goal match. Working with like-minded professionals like you will help you grow in this industry. 2. What are the roles of a branch manager? This question is asked to test whether you are familiar with the duties played by a branch manager should you be hired. The best strategy of responding to this question is by listing the responsibilities of a branch manager, relating them to the job at hand. Sample answer: a branch manager oversees operations of a branch institution. He or she is responsible for managing staff and other resources, designing and creating strategies for attaining sales goals, growing the location's revenues, offering exceptional customer service, training employees and evaluating their performances, preparing reports on sales, creating and maintaining relationships with clients, leasing with other branches to share strategies, among others. 3. What are the qualities that a branch manager need to be successful? The hiring manager asks this question to determine whether you know the qualities that you need to possess to work successfully as a branch manager. The best way to answer this question is by highlighting some qualities that make a good branch manager and connect them with the needs of the employer. Sample answer: to be successful, you need to have excellent communication, organizational skills, and strong leadership abilities. A good branch manager should be able to multitask and delegate duties to employees when appropriate. Other qualities include the ability to strategize and plan ahead, proficiency with Microsoft Office, and working under pressure. 4. What major challenges did you face during your last role? How did you manage them? This question helps the employer to have an idea of how effective you are at handling challenges. The best strategy to respond to this question is by demonstrating your ability to solve a problem respectfully and maturely. Sample answer: the biggest challenge was when I had to discipline the employee for their misconduct. However, knowing that this was my responsibility, I had to do it anyway. Although I did not enjoy punishing employees, I did not have qualms about disciplining those who refused to follow rules. I had to issue write-ups and warnings to employees who crossed the boundaries. 5. Describe your daily routine as a branch manager. The hiring manager asks this question to find out how you prioritize your work. The best way to answer this question is to portray that you are a good manager of time. Show your proactive approach to work by highlighting your daily tasks as per the need of the company. Sample answer: when I get to work, I begin by scanning through my emails and voice messages to check if there is something urgent that needs my attention. Then, I begin my usual duties such as observing the operations in the branch, helping and offering advice to other staff members, serving customers, administrative work, planning, and reporting, among others. Sometimes, I spend most of my day planning, forecasting, analyzing, and reporting data. 6. Describe briefly about your experience. This question helps the employer to know whether your background relates to the needs of the company. Having in mind what the company wants, impressively summarize your job history. Sample answer: previously, I have worked as a manager. My responsibilities involved managing a team of employees, ensuring that all regulations were followed, responding to employees' concerns and questions, serving customers, doing administrative work, planning, and reporting, among others. During this time, productivity went high and the turnover rate decreased. I have also worked as a front-end manager at a grocery store for 2 years. Here, I was overseeing a team of baggers and cashiers as I ensured that customers remained satisfied. I have therefore gained a lot of supervisory and management experience that will help you perform this role successfully. 7. What kind of strategies and mindset is required for this role? Your response to this question indicates your attitude and passion for the role. The best way to handle the question is to highlight some of the skills and strategies you'll employ while performing your roles. Sample answer. Effective branch managers must recognize that they have to manage people before focusing on managing processes. They must know that they are mentors and leaders first and foremost. They are capable of designing and sustaining a good structural system, leadership, mentorship, and support to efficiently manage a team. 8. What is the biggest challenge that you foresee in this job? The recruiting team asks this question to test your preparedness to deal with potential challenges. In your response, demonstrate that you are well aware of what is taking place in this industry. Highlight your ability to deal with potential challenges. Sample answer. The biggest challenge I can foresee in this role is the absence of structures while overseeing teams of workers. Depending on this work environment, I think some employees may require to be closely supervised than others to attain a high productivity level. However, I have the skills needed to develop an organizational structure that will help the employees to know what is expected of them. I can show respect to employees to encourage loyalty. 9. How do you stay motivated in your work? The employer asks this question to find out your interests and values as you perform the tasks assigned to you. In your response, highlight your interests and values that drive your morale for work. Sample answer. This job is a motivation in itself. I get to interact with different employees and customers every day. It brings satisfaction to meeting the needs of people through my skills and knowledge. Having been able to reduce employees' turnover and increasing job productivity drives me to want to do more to enable a company to soar higher. 10. Describe a time when you failed in this role and the lesson you learned. The employer wants to find out whether you can admit your mistakes. In your response, own mistakes to your actions and pick a few lessons you learned from the situation. Sample answer. When I first got promoted to being a manager, I had challenges handling my old co-workers. The situation was awkward at first since the old co-workers regarded me to be more like them and could hesitantly obey my orders. This intimidated me such that I felt like stepping down from a managerial position. However, I discussed my concerns with my director and she encouraged me to hold on and keep boundaries. I held a meeting with all the employees and we addressed the change in roles. I allowed the employees to ask some questions and I responded to them appropriately. From there, I took it as my initiative to support employees' efforts and making sure that they have everything they need to accomplish their goals. Today, this is not an issue and the staff acknowledges me as their manager. This situation taught me that time and the right leadership determines a successful transition. 11. Why do you feel you are the most suited for this role? The employer asks this question to assess whether you are the best fit for the job. While responding to this question, highlight your best skills, traits, education, experience, and relevant accomplishments. Sample answer. I am a results-driven manager who ensures that sales goals are met and office tasks are completed successfully on time. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration. I have been in a managerial role for more than 5 years. I have a proven track record of good performance, especially in monitoring sales, creating sales reports, training staff as well as managing them. My 5+ years in this industry have helped to acquire modern management skills and tactics which I will use to make a success in this role. I also have a clear understanding of laws and regulations governing this industry. 12. Share with us your greatest achievement. The employer asks this question to know your past job performance. This question provides you with an opportunity to brag about yourself and share what you are truly proud of professionally. Sample answer. My greatest accomplishment is being able to retain a low employee turnover rate in my previous role as a branch manager. For the last 3 years, the turnover rate amongst employees has reduced from 29% to 13%. When I became a branch manager, I recognized that I had to manage people before I could manage the process. I became a leader and mentor to the employer and created a structural system that showed respect to the employer. This made them see how they are valued and by this, they got motivated to work. As a result, the bank revenue soared high. 13. Explain how you make difficult decisions without the input of others. The employer asks these questions to assess your approach in the decision-making process. This is a good opportunity to describe your decision-making techniques as you relate to the job at hand. Sample answer. I always think about the outcome of a situation from a comprehensive perspective. I'm majorly concerned with how the outcome will affect customers and whether it will leave behind a positive impression of the company. Additionally, I evaluate the effect of the decision on the employees and the revenue. After ascertaining that the decision will have a positive impact on the customers, employees, and revenue, I will go on to making the decision. However, I will decline a decision if its outcome will benefit only one person or lower sales. 14. Tell me about your approach to discipline. The interviewer asks this question to determine how do you feel about having to discipline your employees. In your response demonstrates that and you are comfortable reprimanding employees for negative behaviors. Sample answer. I am comfortable with reprimanding workers if they misbehave or act in a manner that can bring a negative impact on the company. I believe that if an employee refuses to perform his or her role correctly, this can be a reflection of managerial aptitude. I give a warning to a minor infraction warrant and a write-up to an intermediate infraction warrant. If a worker fails to change or make a serious infraction, suspension or termination is necessary. However, I have not discharged a worker on those grounds, but I have had to issue write-ups and warnings. 15. Explain how you ensure that you evaluate employee performance from a neutral, non-biased perspective. This is a technical question that the interviewer asks to gauge your job performance. In your response, demonstrate how you respect and value other staff. Sample answer. When evaluating employee performance, I am always professional as I focus on the outcome of the worker's actions. When doing this, I do not value any personal relationship between me and employees. I also consider the written record of every employee. I believe that a written record provides more information on performance than my personal opinion. I treat all workers equally to avoid team from falling apart. 16. What criteria would you use when selecting new staff members? The interviewer may ask this question to find out how you can help them in selecting new staff. Your response to the question should show what you value in employees. Sample answer. During a new staff selection exercise, I would consider several factors such as skills, education background, experience, etc. to make sure that the candidate qualifies for the position. I will keenly examine the resume as well, asking questions that will assess whether a candidate is dedicated to the industry. 17. Has your personal connections ever helped you succeed in your work? The employer asks this question to gauge your ability to network. In your response, show that you work well with others. Sample answer. Yes, personal connections have helped me excel in my previous roles. For instance, when my previous employer needed a funding source to help in pay for a huge project that was underway, I reached out to one of my former schoolmates who offers grants to upcoming industries. He asked us to apply for a grant, which we did. Fortunately, the funds we got enabled my previous employer to complete the project. 18. Tell me some of the things you want to accomplish while managing this branch. The interviewer asks this question to assess your goals for this role should you be hired. In your response, demonstrate that you are not after money. Speak regarding the things you want to achieve for the company. Sample answer. If I am hired for the job, my first agenda will be to increase sales revenues and profits. I will also work at my best level to improve the level of customer satisfaction, employee loyalty, and reputation of the branch in the public. Additionally, I will try to bring out the best from every employee on an ongoing basis to foster job productivity. 19. How would your previous employees rate your performance as a manager or supervisor? The employer asks this question to assess whether you can develop relationships with other team members and if you are capable of treating them fairly. Your response to this question will demonstrate how you perceive yourself and the impact of your actions on other workers. In your response, show your ability to self-reflect on the effects of the employee's actions. Sample answer. I believe that my previous peers would rate me highly. I have had time to build good relationships with all my co-workers. In my opinion, everyone is important to the success of the company. I respected all my previous employees with respect without compromising on customer satisfaction and sales. Sometimes, a degree of firmness was important, but I remained fair at all times. 20. Tell me the steps you have taken in the past year that has helped you develop professionally. The response you provide for this question illustrates to your interviewer whether you have a dedication to the industry and if you are looking for ways to become the best you can be. In your response, include the improvement activities you have engaged into, additional training, books you have read, etc. Sample answer: I have recently completed a certification program that enabled me to become a certified branch manager. This program has been quite rewarding, for it has helped me to have a different perspective of how I regarded branch managing. I have gained skills of managing staff and other resources, designing and creating strategies for attaining sales goals, growing the location's revenues, among others.